Going live.
We are live, Anu.
We are live. Please start.
Good evening, everyone, and namaskara from Bangalore. I'm Dr. Prachi, country advisor, G100 Oneness and Wisdom Wing. And what this Oneness and Wisdom Wing of G100 all about? We focus on nurturing spiritual harmony, emotional well-being, and collective consciousness. We emphasizes on the principle of oneness, inclusivity, and inner wisdom. And every month we are bringing something or another new, like we discuss, we brainstorm, sometimes we have arguments, and then we finally decide on one topic for the month. And this month we are talking about kindness. Since September is known followed for being the month of suicide prevention, which is one of the most pressing public health concern in this time, and it is affecting individual families and communities all over the world. So we thought, why not create some awareness about kindness. If we are being kind to people, so there might be a possibility, if we give our ear for people to and kind of we empathize with them, we hear them out, so there might be a possibility, there is definitely going to be a reduction in these suicidal tendencies and suicidal thought process. So today's theme emphasizes that even a small gesture of compassion, empathy, and kindness can be a powerful intervention. A smile, a supportive word, or simply listening without judgment can plant a seed of hope for someone who feels overwhelmed. So, taking the event forward, now I would like my co panelists to introduce themselves, starting from Anu.
Hello, all. It's always such a joy to see all of you right here once again. This is our monthly G100 Oneness and Wisdom event of the month. And uh, my name is Anu Nadimpalli. I am the India country chair. And I promised Prachi, who hasn't introduced herself, she is our India Country Advisory Council. So you guys are right now in the safest hands. So I will step aside and please let her take over. Thank you so much.
Dr. Pooja Dikshit.
Yeah, thank you, Prachi ji. So, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all the esteemed dignitaries present today. It's a privilege and honor to be a part of this wonderful G100 Oneness and Wellness program. And Prachi ji, all thanks goes to you from my side because you only introduced me to this wonderful platform where we will be talking, just not talking or discussing. We will be just being empathized, we will be compassionate, and I think somewhere or other we will be learning with this community. So, my all gratitude to the entire team, to the founder, Dr. Harbin Arora, and Miss Anu, and our country chair, country advisor, and Miss Shweta. Because the process which from I have come across, these were the ladies who have been a part of my journey. So thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity where I will be just not inspired, but here I will be just having my voices, where my voices will be united for the growth, for the compassion, and for transformation. So looking forward for a wonderful sessions and for a wonderful community where I will be growing myself.
Welcome, Pooja ji, and this is her first event after she joined G100 Oneness in Wisdom. Emma, over to you.
Just turn myself on there so I can actually speak to you all. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for the invite. I am the G100 UK country chair, and and I think it's such an important topic. As was mentioned earlier, if we think about the statistics and we give some context to this issue, every 8 minutes a young person in India dies from suicide. It's the number 2 biggest killer in the UK and the USA of young people. And it's a growing concern. What we do know is that self-harm is massively linked to suicide. And what we also know is if people are looking for help, the real place they want to go is to go to their friends and their family, and they want to be speaking to their communities. And we have to create the situation and the environment where people feel that they can do that. So, random acts of kindness not only benefit the giver, but they massively benefit the receiver. And if we think about the benefits of it, well, it stimulates us to be able to engage with people in positive ways, in ways that we may not have thought of before. Just stopping, taking the time, and to notice what's going on around us, because we know how easy it is to be in our Ferris wheels going and going and going. And the crazy thing about the world we live in now, how many times do you walk down the street and everybody's faces are in the screen? It's pretty horrifying, to be honest. What it also does is it gives us experiences that we might otherwise be denied of. And an example of that is the other day I went for a walk down by the sea where I live in the UK, saw an older gentleman sat on a bench, his shoe was off, he looked like he was in a bit of pain, and I asked him and said, "Are you okay?" And we ended up chatting for 30 minutes about his life, about what he was inventing. He even talked to me about my work. And I wouldn't have had that experience if I didn't take the time to stop and listen. I think also it's that benefit to others, it's that acknowledgement. And if I was to think about what can we do in terms of the ways that we can introduce kindness into our world, well, first of all, we've got to humanize our everyday reactions. When I go back to the west of Ireland, where I originally come from, I will walk down the street and I can guarantee you every person will say hello and they will smile whether they know you or not. That's not the case in other parts of the world. I often see children walking past us now and they're scared to look at you in the eye because they're frightened of strangers. And that absolutely diminishes our ability to connect. So showing small bits of kindness, just being noticing if a woman is struggling with her baby, trying to get on a tube or trying to get from A to B, being mindful even of somebody, if they're on the street and they're begging, you know what, just look them in the eye and say hello. Because we all go there, but for the grace of God. It would a turn of fate, one way or the other, that could be us. And just that acknowledgement, being seen, being heard, feeling that we belong is all about the human connection that we're wired for. So for me, that's super important. The other thing that I think we can do is create microcultures of kindness. So, when students go into school, wouldn't it be lovely? And I've seen a video of this. If a teacher is there and he says hello or she says hello to them, every single one of them by name. How are you? How are you today? At least they'd be acknowledged. And the reason I say that, because I heard a story the other day of a teacher who was quite stressed in the classroom. A student came in, hadn't got their pencils or their markers, and gave them a detention. Didn't ask why, wasn't curious, was in judgment mode. And it turns out that that kid had slept on a park bench with their brother the night before because there were problems at home. And so I think if that teacher had been able to shift beyond their own stress and strain, and I'm not being negative about teachers, I think they have a really difficult job. But I think one of the best things we can do in terms of being able to create that kindness is out of judgment into curiosity and not being frightened to say hello. So for me, we can create that in our classrooms. We can create that in the workplace if we choose to have that sort of culture. And I think it happens from the top down. If the leader in the company is willing to come down and talk to people and say hello, that absolutely has a ripple impact. It's like it throws the stone, creates the ripples, because that's the culture that we're creating here. I think the other way that we can do it is we know that if we remind ourselves that we build emotional resilience when people are seen and heard. And so by absolutely acknowledging that, so if somebody in your neighborhood is living on their own, is to be able to go in and check in on them. I can say that my mother is 89, and when she goes down to the local shops, they know her by name. She had a problem recently where she wasn't feeling well. They sat her down and they made her a cup of tea, and they said, "Don't worry about it. If she needs any special groceries, they'll bring them up. They'll arrange to do that. Sometimes they'll even carry the groceries up the hill for her." Now, for me, I would spend more money in that shop than I would anywhere else because of the kindness that they are giving to my mother. But we don't have that in so many communities. And I think we need to reconnect that fabric that's been torn because we are all too busy. Yeah, the other areas I think is that digital, that digital disconnect. It's getting young people away from the screens and getting them involved in community things. So I think if there's a focus within a community that they can come and help with a community garden or help with some elderly people, or it gets them out into the real world where they also are learning those communication skills, which because of COVID, so many of them have struggled to connect with. So they are just really, some of my ideas about what we can do. To add as well, I think it's important to understand the facts about suicide. Now, I'm actually going to look at my screen here just to be sure that I remember this completely properly and I give you the accurate information. So if you think about facts of suicide, it's being aware of how people are showing up. You know, are they, are they, are they, I'm just going to get it here. How are they feeling? These are people certainly that might be closer to you. You're rushing around as a mom or rushing around as a dad, or you're trying to do everything. Notice how people are feeling. Are people feeling more hopeless? Are they feeling more extreme in their moods? Are they showing rage? This is the F of the fact of suicide. The other one is actions. Um, are they showing marked changes in their behavior? Are they is there a problem with them engaging with their friends? Is there a problem with their personal hygiene? Have you noticed a change in that? So again, it's about noticing and it's about being kind and seeing if you're able to connect with them. Displaying severe or overwhelming pain or distress. Be mindful of that. It's somebody kind of, just in themselves, not relating. And and feeling isolated. They might be having difficulty sleeping. That's the change, the C in facts. There's also threats, experiencing stressful situations. So are people going through divorce? Are they going through separation? Are children struggling at school? Is anyone being bullied? This sort of thing is really important to take into account. And situations, are they talking about, writing about, or speaking about wanting to end their lives? That they're worthless, they're not helpless. And in order to be able to connect, we've got to notice. And we can give the kindness in whatever form we do. So remember that facts, feelings, actions, changes, threats, situations. Know also if you speak to someone and ask them if they're considering suicide, it's okay to do that. It doesn't mean that you're going to plant the seed that they're going to go off and do it. But what they do need to feel is they need to feel they trust you, and they need to feel that they can talk without judgment and without fear. And I think that's the greatest form of kindness that we can give anyone. So I hope that's a useful insight.
Thanks, Emma. It's really kind of you to give so much of detail about kindness and the number of suicides happening in India, UK, US, or other parts of the world. Raida, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hi, good evening, everybody. I am Raida Alamki, and I am the country chair of Oman for G100 Oneness Wisdom. And I'm a brain-based coach. I was very interested in this topic since I coach executives and leaders, and I came across this type of, let's say, situation. And so this topic was a little bit close to my heart, let's say, to help somebody out. especially knowing that a lot of people are going through a lot of things, but we don't realize that.
Thank you, Raida. Dr. Mahi?
Yes. So I'm the Karnataka Advisory Council member, Dr. Mahi Gupta here, and I'm the founder of Cure Essentials, a completely women-based brand. We help women mentally, physically, and in every possible way of life. We also help other people psychologically, physically, and in other means. I'm also very active social worker in NGOs across India and the Red Cross Foundation as well. I teach students. I also I'm a very passionate writer where I worked in newspapers and a lot of magazines as well. So I'm really grateful to be a part of this action which we're going to make, the awareness which we're going to spread today, that is going to definitely help a lot of people, but at the same time is definitely going to provoke the kindness within us as well. And we'll understand the importance and significance of what kindness is to us and the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mahi. And now, for a change, we have a guest with us actually. Usually, we invite our own, co partners of various regions and, people related to G100 Wellness and Wisdom. But I think Dr. Harbeen, our global chair, and Dr. Anu, our country chair, have been kind enough. So we have Suman Srinivas with us today. And this is for the first time in G100 Oneness and Wisdom, we have a guest. So, Suman, over to you.
Hi everyone. It's really nice to be here. It's lovely to see this energy, and I'm very thrilled to be listening to all of you. It's very interesting. So I'm actually a counselor, and my mantra for my clients and all the courses I have conducted and continue to do has always been coping to healing to joy, And I think this fits in really well into the healing and the joy part. And it's it's in the kindness that both the giver and the receiver can move towards that, but it's a hard step to take. So I really was very happy to hear Emmer speak about this in a way that we make this systemic. Actually, I had a very different introduction plan, but I've gotten very excited by what Emma has said, and I think if we can make this systemic somehow, because indifference has become something that has become natural to us. I don't even know who my neighbor is, or forget work. I don't even know who that neighbor is. If I see them outside that context, I don't know who the person I'm working out with. I don't know why they're there, or I don't even know their names. So just to bring in connection in every little bit of our lives, uh, and to be that change ourselves, to start with that, to go out there every day so that it becomes us, so that it's not an agenda. So that's just who we are, that we go out every day and we connect, and that's how we bring about the change. But to make it systemic, it would be great if we could figure this out as a group. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. Yeah.
Thank you, Suman. Thank you so much. So now we will be starting with our panel discussion. And I'm so sorry for, I'm under the weather throughout the year. So, Pooja ji, I would, like to start with you. But before that, like I personally feel after listening to all my co-panelists that by raising awareness on, like on such a sensitive topic, I think we will be able to reduce the stigma and promote open conversations. We might be able to empower people to seek help, to support each other, because I think suicide prevention is not only a clinical responsibility but a collective social responsibility, where on day-to-day basis, when we show a small act of kindness, we might be able to save a lot of lives. So, Pooja ji, like my first question goes to you: what motivated you to start practicing kindness in your daily interactions?
Thank you, Prachi ji. And I was just listening to all the panelists, the kind of suggestions or the kind of kindness is which is required. We were talking about resilience, the understanding. We don't know who is our neighbor. That is, we. I think we all are living in such a materialistic world, and we are in we are so much busy that we just been on to our work. So there is a need, as you mentioned, that societal awareness, that suicide prevention awareness is the need of the hour. If you look at the data, you will find number of cases every second is, I won't say month, seconds. And there comes that we can, as a panelist, can be an advocate. And I would like to congratulate the entire team who has come up with this wonderful topic of small action, and that is kindness, which will make a difference. So I come from a sociology background, and I just wanted to ponder upon few things, that why it happens. This society is basically because of the self-centered society. We see it as an individual act, but it is because of the self-centered society's judgmental society. And if this has been lessened up, then the cases might reduce. As we are talking about that, there is nobody to listen. First of all, we need to make that comfort zone. We need to create those safer zones for students, for anyone who is in trouble. Then only the things will come up. So so basically two things which is the need, which is very much to be taken care. First, lack of integration, and over regulation. These are the two things which is going on in the society. So we have to be very mindful by coping up, or while discussing these things, or while dealing with people. You know, dealing with people is very hard. So now I will come to the question which you have just given to me. That really, this question made me pause and reflect how need to answer, because in our daily interaction we do so many things, and our daily interaction really truly define as a human beings we are. Does our being like our title define us, or our positions define us, or the material things that we gathered here define us? Because we all are into this circle only. I am so and so, who and so and so. And we all have those inner qualities. Here, what I would like to mention, that we all have those 7 emotions, like the peace, love, joy, kindness. We all have that bliss, and we all have those negative emotion also. You, me, everyone. But what we do, we always have this negative thought overpowering the positive thoughts. So at some time we struggle with this. Like something happened at the business, something happened at the business level, something happened at the work level. So we feel egoistic, we feel anger. We are always in a tug of war with our daily lives. What to do? And really, this question is really pondering upon to everyone, that what we need, what quality we need to nurture is the kindness. And I would like to mention here that this is my childhood. Kindness has been my natural language, and this came up from, because when I was reflecting back, that helping friends in the school notes, completing the work for someone, or someone struggling with the internet, someone struggling with the mobile, anything, or sometimes building friendship. And I find joy in building friendships. I find the small act, and that selfless action made me a person who I am. So at that time, I realized, what is I'm doing? Sometimes I pagal ho kya? What you are doing? But I think these small action made my personality. And here comes the term kindness. So I grew older with these small things, and then my inclination towards spirituality made me understood that we all are born pure, man. We all are born pure. It's the circumstances which make us sometime on a negative side or a darker side. It's only the glitter of the materialistic world that sometimes we overshadows our inner shine, making us forget that are love, we have love for each other. And that makes a difference. I would just like to share one story. I won't take much of your time. Recently, I visited the old age home with my friends and my students to celebrate the Valentine Day. And there we just have certain things. We did activities with those elderly person. We gifted them the flowers. We just danced together, and we asked them to just have their stamp, the colorful stamp with the sheet. We draw a heart over there, and you can't think of that how happy they were, and that big heart was being filled by those thumbs. And then we framed that to them. And the one thing which happened, which again reflect me back, that just a small action, just a smile, makes me realize that how can I make a difference, how a simple drop can make a ripple reactions to someone's life. And while we were talking about someone shared to us that my birthday is the same. Like I was just asked them that what's your birthday date. So then she shared me my birthday date is so and so, and the same date I shared with her. So we decided that we will celebrate your birthday together. And it's like after 1 month, my birthday was there. So she was calling me, will you come, beta? Will you come, beta? So I said, yes, auntie, I will definitely come and we'll celebrate together. And we went and we gifted something with a cake. And the kind of happiness I can share with her because nobody is with her, her family is not here, her brother, her son is not there, if nobody is there. So she was always like, somebody should be there to look after. Though the clinical, as you mentioned, the clinical things are being done. But at the term of emotional level, at the term of sharing this small joy, nobody is there. So, and this made me that no, the kindness is going to be my signature thing. I will be doing same thing. Whosoever say, whatever say, I am not going to be changed. So, even a small act like holding someone's hand, sharing a smile, keeping a promise, like today in right time of in AI, we don't keep our promises, and that is very very important because the promises, when being fulfilled, bring a immense joy. So it's not only make other feel loved, it makes valued and it fills our heart with happiness. Happiness is not a responsibility of kindness is not a responsibility of anyone. It is just how you nurture a sense of belongingness in this fast-paced world. And that is very very important because if you are kind to someone, it will reduce your stress, it will increase your happiness, and you will feel more connected to the humanity, and that is what is important. And I think this G100 platform is doing wonderful work. It is just bringing joy to someone like me, like I'm just sharing my thoughts, my stories. Otherwise these stories will be my stories. So thank you once again, Prachi ji, for giving this question to me, and thank you the entire team of G100.
Thank you so much, Pooja ji. It's so nice that you are actually, as an educator, you are kind of supporting and motivating your students to like accept the world the way it is and to be kind towards the people who actually need it. I'm really impressed. It's really really wonderful. Thank you so much for taking this question so well. Now I would like to ask Emmer, because you all of us are from different part of the region. Emmer, how do you see this small act of kindness influencing communities at large, especially in today's fast-paced world?
I just think it connects us simply. That's what it does more than anything. And I'm afraid I did jump a bit ahead of the gun earlier, so I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize I was just supposed to introduce myself. So for me it's about reconnection, because we absolutely need to do that. No man is an island. We're here to be together. There's a reason why when we get slung out of the tribe, we feel so bad and so lost. And it's because it's part of our DNA, it's part of our survival, because community is something where we're more likely to survive in harmony together. Um, and I think when we can teach a culture of serving with purpose and with kindness, that can just take us out of ourselves. There's many a time I've been in a dark place, and I've, rather than focus on my dark place, I have focused on what can I do for someone else, because I know it's going to make me feel so much better. And actually, your day feels so much better at the end if you can, spread a little bit of happiness. And it does make a big difference. So for me, yeah, it's all about connection. I think it's really important we educate, especially young people. And I suppose because I work with young people, and I, developed programs for them and developed apps for them to really understand who they are and how they're wired underneath the surface. I think parents have a big responsibility here too. And I think they do, because I always say we all get given our own life to live. But it's not your job to live your life through your children and put loads of pressure on them. It's your job to help them find their talents. It's your job to help them find their thrive zone. And I can tell you from a lot of kids, they will beat themselves up 20 million times more than before their parents hear what they've got up to. And so, as a parent, ask yourself, do you focus on the things that you see that are not great about your kid and you bombast them with that feedback? Or do you focus on all the other amazing stuff that's good about them? Are your expectations of them truly kind? Or are they an agenda that you have for yourself and your status and what you want? Because I think that has a massive pressure here on kids in terms of them making decisions. When I think about why do kids not connect, well, they don't want to make a fuss. They don't want to add to your stress. And they're being kind to us, but we may not, they keep everything else into themselves. So I think, again, just connecting, not judging at home, not if they're not doing well at school, find out why, be kind about it. Ask, is it the right environment for you? Because we know not one size fits all. If you want them to be a doctor or a lawyer, I always say to parents, be really careful about that, because the suicide rates within these professions is incredibly high. It's a calling. And why would you put that pressure on your child to be something that they do not want to be, particularly in a world that is massively changing with AI? You really want them to be aligned with who they are. And I think that's the greatest kindness we can give our children. And we should keep that at the forefront of our interactions with them. So I hope that's a useful input.
You just hit the nail right, Amar. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you joined us for this session. Thank you so much. And the way you had put up the question, answer across, it's wonderful. And now I would like to, ask our special guest. Since she is from counseling background, she's a counselor. I'm pretty sure she's dealing with she's meeting a lot of people and she's dealing with different communities and, people from different age group and people from different background. So, Suman, my question to you goes like, what are some special act of kindness that people practice? Because you will be meeting so many people in your counseling sessions, right? So
Right.
on day-to-day basis, whether it is at home, whether it is a workplace, or it could be in society.
So I think it's pretty simple, Prachi. I think they actually care. Sometimes they actually care and they care to ask, and they're also unconditional in when they are present with the person who's crying in front of them. They're just present. So um, I find that it's just instinctive for them. It's not something they're thinking about. And this, and the other thing I have found, and it's a bit sad for me to say this, and perhaps even judgmental, but it is a valid observation I have made, is in the economically better off section, I find it's harder to come by than in the economically weaker section. They have a stronger sense of community and a more unconditional way of being present. So, becoming better off economically is actually distancing us from fellow human beings. I find that to be a bit sad. I think the different acts of kindness have been covered by many of you in your um, uh, explanation just now in our discussion, and it's the smile, it's the hug, it's the being present, it's the asking genuinely asking how are you, and actually listening. But other than those which we know about, which are the acts of kindness which we can do, simple acts of kindness, the a few things that come to mind to do it systemically for me is to make it a daily practice, to start to say, today when I get out, I will do 3, 5, 10, whatever you have mind and physical and emotional space for, to do it. And also to be kind to yourself, saying, today, if I can't do it, it's all right. To make it a daily practice until it becomes who you are at a cellular level, not just a very cognitive thing. And the other thing is, I think it also begins with us saying that, what would I need? What would be a great thing for me to have in this situation, and to go out and give that, you know? And the third thing I had was become open to receiving and giving kindness outside of your friends and what we call friends and family, become open to both giving and receiving. I think that will expand our circle of kindness. So those were the three things I had, and I think the many of you have covered the simple acts of kindness, which were really wonderful to hear. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts and my experiences.
Thank you so much, Suman. It is so nice to hear somebody from the counseling background, somebody is from, like maybe as a leader background, somebody from an educator background.
Okay, I think something happened with her internet. See, this is why we have backup. Guys, I'm your backup. She'll be back, I'm sure,
So,
very soon.
Yeah,
how
yeah,
Uh,
she's there.
yeah, you're back.
I'm
Go
so
ahead.
sorry.
No, no, I think you just left. The internet got a little bit.
Might be.
That's
Um,
okay. Go ahead. Come
yeah.
back in.
So,
You're back.
Dr. Mahi, I would like to ask you the question: how does kindness improve emotional resilience and mental health, from both the ends, from whether you talk about the receiver or whether you talk about the giver?
Sure. So, first of all, I'd like to thank you for giving me such a great question. And I would like to thank all of you here for showing up, for just listening, for caring. Where, in a world where silence often surrounds the suffering, our presence, your presence is a powerful act of, resistance against the silence itself. It means you're not just here to understand, but perhaps, to heal, to help, or to be reminded of that hope which we are talking about today. And of course, suicide prevention, it's not just about the statistics, it's not just the warning signs, but it is about the heart, what it truly, means to everybody. Because it's not just a poetic question which you've asked me, it's something which is beyond clinical, beyond psychological, neurological, and profoundly one answer could, change a lifetime itself. So let me just begin honestly. When we see statistically, every 40 seconds, someone somewhere takes their own life, right? So in those moments, the world actually doesn't stop turning. The sun still continues to set. The emails on our phones, on our laptops still pile up. But for those who loved that person, for that parent, that sibling, that friend, the world is never going to be the same again. And it's like learning how to, breathe probably without lungs. And it's something which is so common today, which everybody feels, which we cannot even dare to admit. So I think suicide and the prevention and the kindness which we talk about, it's not weakness and it's not about just selfishness or definitely not attention seeking, which we see today a lot. It is truly a lot of pain, unrelenting, invisible, and very quiet pain. It's disconnection, isolation, hopelessness. Name the kind of sorrow which anybody can go through, and that it is. So, what exactly fights such sort of disconnection is very simple: compassion, connection, and of course, kindness. So, when we talk about kindness, it isn't just nice, something fluffy or decorative or some biological term here. It's honestly a very powerful tool which can, change lives outside and the life which you live yourself. So, psychologically or biologically speaking, the act of kindness, as you've asked me, what it does to the receiver, it releases oxytocin, it releases serotonin. These are love hormones, these are connection hormones. They don't just, give kindness around. They also lower your own blood pressure. They reduce the cortisol, the stress hormone. It makes people seen. It makes people feel valued, safe, and they're just stripped away from that depression, from trauma, and that suicidal ideation when you just do that. So what's actually remarkable is these effects are not just any sort of recipient for kindness, I would say. For the giver also, there are many benefits. Even in their brain, it releases dopamine. It makes them feel good. It links to motivation and reward itself to them. there is a psychology, there's a psychological theory actually about reward and motivation. It's your brain is rewired according to what it's being fed with, right? So every time you reward someone, every time you give a little bit of kindness, that motivation turns into primary and secondary motivation, where you automatically want to be happy and you're not struggling for it. So, in other words, according to me, kindness is literally medicinal, and for both the person who receives it and for the one who gives it as well. It's not just about, being untouched by pain. It's about, not being destroyed by the pain. We need to not be destroyed by it. We need to be it's not just getting untouched. So that's where relationships, human connections, moments of kindness come up. When someone just says to you, I mean, if you're just talking to me, and if I tell you, I see you, I care, I'm here, that itself, just this builds a layer of protection in your emotional armor. Even if it's just brief, if it's just subtle, it's definitely going to matter. And especially imagine in those moments of darkness where people are going through, it is literally just a signal to the brain that you're not alone. And sometimes it's a game between despair and survival. That's what I would say. And another one thing which I would like to mention is a phenomenon actually which is talked about in psychology. It's called the helper's high. So that is when we help others, when we extend kindness, we experience a psychological high that is similar to that which we experience when we probably eat something delicious, or when we meet the people we love. So that's what I would like to say. The helper's high is something we should always have within us. And of course, acts of kindness are definitely contagious. And I would just like to put up 4 to 5 points about how we could probably, be good to others, be kind to ourselves and to the surroundings. Reach out to any friend, family members that you haven't heard from in a while. And you should just try to listen sometimes. Fixing something is not going to help. Just be there, listen to that person. Being present is better than being perfect, and letting the person know the truth and saying you matter, even when you assume they already know, is going to definitely be a great thing. So we just need to be human enough to care and brave enough to act. So if you're here today and you are struggling, we can definitely help. And pain is not permanent at all. It's loud, it's real, but it's definitely going to pass. And kindness, especially yourself, is the most radical and life saving thing that you can practice ourselves. It's revolutionary, I can say. And we need to make sure we say that to ourselves. I am the change. I can be the revolution and I can help people. And yes, you are. We must build a culture of care and not just awareness, right? So be kind every day to others, to yourself. Be the interruption to someone's despair. Be the hand that reaches, be the word that soothes and the eye that notices, and be the reason someone chooses to say, because sometimes that's all it takes. And I think that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
This is really big from the smallest of the pack in the house today. Hats off to you, Mahi. Really, really. So, so good to have you at the session today. Really, really. I'm so
Thank
glad. I'm so glad that you spoke all that.
you.
Raida, I would like to ask you this. I'm really like overwhelmed with the answer you gave. In the time of crisis, Raida, this for you. In the time of
Mhm.
crisis, how can kindness become a source of healing and hope?
Well, you see, crisis means, differently. It could be a personal crisis. It could be a community crisis. It could be a global crisis like we had with the COVID and the market downturn. So there's different types of crises that we go through as individuals or as a community. And, you know, I believe that kindness is the emotional first aid that can bring us all together. So when people go through very very difficult times, um, and as everybody here was saying, that it's the giver and the receiver, both benefit from it. So when we're talking about somebody who's receiving it, it's a sense of belonging. I still deserve to be here. And for somebody who is giving, It's a time that you are giving from a fact that you feel that you have a purpose. I'm here to do something. It's significant. It matters. I'm making a change. So I think it's very, very important because we are social beings, because we are here as a community. We have, managed not to be extinct because we were together as a community. We were together here as humans. And crisis is the biggest test that we go through, because this is the time that either it makes you or breaks you. And a lot of people think when you're going through crisis, or if I'm going through pain, whether it's a loss, you've lost a loved one, or your company has failed, or you've gone through a divorce, or it's whatever problem it is, you always feel that you're at the side of receiving, but actually you are at this side of also giving. A lot of people who went through significant life changing experiences, who went through probably losing a child, and then feeling that depression have opened foundations. They became speakers. It became a purpose. You change that into purpose. When Simon Sinek says, start with why, that why can come after pain, and it becomes even stronger when it's after pain, because the brain can't do two things at the same time. A lot of people, when they want to go through healing, and they feel that you distract yourself. You don't need to distract yourself. You can just redirect that pain or that emotion in actually giving to others. So when you're in the both sides of the spectrum, because people think when you give during a crisis or you receive, you can only do one thing at a time, but you actually do two things at the time. So when you are giving, when you are heartbroken, it actually gives you some sort of release. There was a research that was done by a psychologist that says if anybody goes through a depression and you want to cure yourself from depression, then go on a 40 days, every day do one kind of a kindness action, whatever it is, helping a neighbor, smiling, and count that 40 days. Within that 40 days, your depression will come down. So it's not that because you feel that you are depressed. I mean, nobody will go into suicide. It's a gradual thing. So it will start with being unhappy, and then it will start being sad, and then you start feeling numb, and then you start feeling. Before you get there, I think what we need to capture is, how do we capture that before it gets too late? And I think this topic that we're talking today is, the random acts of kindness. This is where it starts before somebody actually loses it. As a community, this is what makes us resilient. This is what will make us adapt. This is how we will continue the human race. And we always wait when it's crisis. Yes, that's what I'm answering right now. But I think it needs to start of just being humans. This is why every religion right now, I mean, if you look at the whatever religion, whether it's Hinduism, Christianity, or Islam, it all talks about kindness. It's how can we treat each other and be better people. This is how we are going to thrive. So, as what was her name? She just spoke before me, Doctor.
Dr.
Sorry.
Mahi.
Dr. Mahi, yes. As Dr. Mahi was saying, this is not only something that we would feel like, say, emotionally, this is a biological thing. So what happens is when you do it, you release oxytocin. And what that happens, it actually changes your whole biology of your brain. It will tame your amygdala, and it will make you will feel a bit calm. And when you are calm, then you can think clearly. As a coach, and I'm a brain-based coach, what we need to do is when we talk to our coachees, we make sure that first that they are calm so they can think better, because your prefrontal cortex, which is your the front side of your brain, is not able to come up with solutions until you are calm. And I think being calm is part of working with executive who go through a lot of stress, and they have a lot of to give back to their companies to prove themselves as leaders. If they can't keep calm, then they aren't able to solve the problems that we go through currently. So I think what we need to do all together as individuals and as communities is actually understanding that this is not only about suicide, because it's just the beginning. This is the extinct of the human race. This is what I believe.
Thank you so much, Raida. I'm really, it's like, oh, emotions are overwhelming, Like, it's so wonderful to hear from everybody's point of view, whether you talk about a sociologist, you talk from the leader point of view, you talk from different regions point of view. It's, I think, amazing. So I would like to add upon, because me being an educator from almost 2 decades, not two, more than 2 decades, I touch upon a lot of lives, right? And I'm seeing from the time I started teaching till now, I'm seeing generations, being transformed and revolutionary, and Gen Z, whatever you say it, right? But they are humans, they are kids. I always see them as kids. So what I do, I act as an educator, how I, kind of, transform kindness from whatever kindness I have or I follow to my kids. I mean, my students is I act. So when I say I act, I actually acknowledge their struggles. I connect with them with care, and I take supportive steps. I take a lot of steps to support them to move forward. So
I think she'll be back a few minutes. Um, Suman, oh yeah, okay, you're good. Uh,
Sorry.
there was something wonderful. Yeah, go ahead. Suman, you wanted to say something before she comes back?
Actually, I have something very different. We've all spoken of how kindness is good and nice and soft, but I think there is a flip side to it where kindness is actually being tough and disallowing unkindness, speaking up when required. These are uncomfortable things. We are talking of the comfortable things where I feel good, the other person feels good. But there are parts which are harder to hold ourselves and the situation and the space through, is when we take a stance of towards against unkindness, shall we say. So that's harder actually, but it is kind, right? So I was just thinking about that, just thinking aloud
Please,
here.
yeah, please elaborate on that. I think you made a very good point, because it's not just about making that person feel good, but it's about eradicating that seed or whatever, right?
Right.
Removing that seed which actually grew up to whatever made them think even of giving up their own life, right? So please
Right.
elaborate on that a little bit if you can.
Actually, I was talking about it more when it comes at you from the environment. Say you have a difficult manager, say you have a difficult family member or a friend, and these are people, maybe there are patterns that have gotten established and that can be harming that person. So the kindest thing they can do is actually the toughest thing, which is to not take that anymore, and that's a very difficult transition. While it is kind, it is difficult. So to allow for that, to allow the suffering to happen, and to keep your head keep your head above all that, and to know where you're coming from, to do the best for everyone may not be the best for a person. So to keep the greater good in mind, and personally as well, to know that distinction, it's not as simple, I feel, as we are saying that is, you do that, this is all nice, this is very feel good, I get that, I've been there. But that's the flip side, I feel. If anybody has any points of view or disagreements or different ways
Can
of
I?
looking at it, I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I
Please.
just add on that? I think what Suman was trying to say is, before being kind to others, you need to be kind to yourself first. You know, it's like when you're in the aircraft and you go on board, they say, you know, you put the oxygen first on yourself before you put it on your own child. So when you can be kind to yourself and say no to whatever it is that, you know, if you're at an office and you have a manager who's being very, very cruel, or a family member who's being toxic, and if you can't be kind enough and feel that I love myself enough to make this stop, and I believe this is where Suman was going, and I completely agree that you have to be strong enough and love yourself enough to stop anything that is harming you. And that's for you and the other person as well, because if you allow that person to do this to you, it would do he or she would do it to somebody else. So if we look at it, it's not only that you're helping yourself here, you're going to be helping somebody in the future. You know, everything that we talk is social. Everything that we talk is ripple effect. And if you can stand up for yourself, you might actually be also showing somebody else that you can also stand up for yourself. So it's not only giving, but making sure before you give others, you need to be able to give yourself.
Pooja,
Can I add something to this? I
please.
will just add that we have to be conscious of our own thoughts first of all. As Suma just mentioned, that kindness has a flip side of it. Because when we are conscious of our thought, for example, the example which was given by Raida, that if a manager is not good or something, blah 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 has been happened. So we need to be more patient with ourselves first of all. Then we need to be more responder than reactors. So then kindness will be developing slowly and slowly into everyone's thing. So we need to take that pause if something happens, that how patient we are with that. And then this conditions will increase day by day, then you will automatically, these things will inherit it in yourself. So just be conscious of what of your thoughts.
Right. And another thing I noticed also, just by listening to all of you incredible experts, I'm the lucky one here, by the way. So just to remind you, because I'm coming from a very different perspective. I'm an artist and I'm a designer, and listening to each one of you bring up your own perspective is incredible, and that's very true. And just speaking from an artist perspective, I really appreciate what Suman was saying, you know, and when you were talking, Suman, I something struck me. You know, art can be a healing agent in itself. And when you see children, you know, a lot of people do this, you know, they get children, you know, crayons or whatever, and say, start drawing, and their world is revealed in there, you know, their loneliness, you know, their you know, if they are getting humiliated or disrespected, or you know, or abused in their families, if they are getting, you know, if there's abuse going on, or if there is something hurting them, you see that in the children's drawings, and even in adults drawings, by the way, uh, just subconsciously. And so my question to all of you here is that uh, it's loneliness, right? Like whatever I just said, loneliness and disrespect and abuse. And so, how do you in your profession identify that? I mean, I know through my thing, I can see it. I mean, like I have spoken to a lot of you know, young girls and young things, saying that, I mean, there's this dark side that they just reveal openly. And I tell them, are you lonely? You know, are you feeling lonely, my dear? I'm not an expert here, but I just see it in their drawings and in their, I can see their pain, maybe because I've gone through a lot of pain. I've experienced pain, so I identified. But the point here is that you guys are the experts, and how do you, let's, you know, you pick whatever one of them, and say that, you know, how do you identify it, you know, during, through some games you're playing, or through exercise, or just you know, go ahead so people can know. Go ahead, Emmer, you lifted up your hand, go ahead.
I think the most important thing in any situation like that, it's to build a rapport. It's to build that safe space for someone to be themselves. I've been doing training recently where I've been training people on the methodology, and they're just youth workers, and they've gone into schools, and they get the problem kids. And I always say there's no problem child. It's just the environment that they're brought up in, or whatever their coping skills or whatever. They all come out perfect. And often, they just get entangled along the way, often not because of themselves. And what really astounded me was by having lots of tools and techniques in order for that young person to understand themselves. Um, they confided in that youth worker that they were being abused by a relative, and also that a younger cousin was being as well. And it really made me think that girl's been at that school for 5 years, and she's never felt that she has been given the space or the safety net to be able to show up and say her truth. And obviously, her behavior wasn't always ticking all the right performance boxes or whatever at the school. So, for me, as a society, we have to create that safe space for our children to speak. Because I know as an adult, being in a workplace and having a senior manager sit next to me and all of a sudden put his hand on my leg, I was frozen like a rabbit in the headlights, and I wasn't a kid. So the ability of power and darker forces, if that's how we like to call them, being operational, it's empowering our children to have a voice and letting them know that no matter what, there's a safe space. And I call that the creation of a good adult in their lives. Someone they can turn to, someone they can talk to. And obviously with upgraded skills too. I think that's super important in the day, in the world we live in now. The ability to active listen, the ability to understand how feedback works, understanding
Wonderful.
what stuff you're bringing to the party, to that relationship. Because what I find in every coaching interaction, when you boil the problem down, there's a relationship problem with self, or a relationship problem with other people. I have never come across any situation to date that didn't boil down to that core element. So, for
Wonderful.
me, we need more good adults in the world. We need more
Yes.
safe, trusted spaces in our schools for young people to talk about what they're really feeling
Right.
rather than how they think they need to show up. They're
That's
brilliant at
wonderful.
doing what I call the Marilyn Monroe, scenario. Fabulous on the outside, but I'm
Yeah.
crumbling on the inside.
Very
And they're
painful in the
experts at
inside.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just thought that might be interesting to throw that
That's
out.
wonderful. Anyone else? We're a little bit about time, so I'm just trying to wrap up.
Yeah, I
Yeah, go
think
ahead,
I'd like
please.
to
Yeah,
add.
I just wanted to share, as you must just asked, that how you do as an educator in the
Yes.
class and how you observe.
Yes.
So I was just reflecting back that whenever I start my first introductory class, I always ask my students to write how you look at the world. So when they write it down, and I don't read at that time, but I keep everything with me, and then once they are out of the class, I read it, and then I start my observation to those students, what their thoughts, and then I work upon them. And my success story, I just wanted to share. One of the girl I taught in BA first year, and it's second year, like it's like 1 year entire day. Here I just was observing the so I she came one day to me, and then, ma'am, I just wanted to talk to you. I asked, okay, once the class is over, you can come to me. And then when she came, she started crying. And to my surprise, I just hold her hand and then just sit beside her. What happened to you? Then she hugged me. And then she said, ma'am, I have been sexually abused. And it was goosebump. And when she talked about that her father is doing so, it was really like, and I think the trust she has got within that 1 year, that made her talk to me like this. And it's been 2 years. Right now, she is a confident girl because daily I was just doing those things, those small actions. I was just talking to her daily on a regular basis. And now she's a girl who's full of confidence. Now she's in MA, she's doing masters, and she's so confident. And daily she comes to me and say thank you. Because no, thank you. That is how the God has given. God has met together. I'm just a mediator. That true education is, we talk about being an educator. Education is this, when we talk about the holistic development through our action. And
Mhm.
in this world where people might
Through
criticize you,
trust.
that how much time you are giving to the student, no, we have to give them. Then only we can bring such wonderful and confident personality. And
Through
that's my
trust.
success story, and I'm really proud of that.
Wonderful.
That how she is
I love
coming
it.
up, such a wonderful human being.
Yes, I love it. It's so lovely. Please go ahead, Mahi. You had something
Yeah, so as she was just mentioning,
very
I
quickly.
mean, we're definitely a grief illiterate society, I would say, because we are taught maths, we're taught English, we are taught so many things, but we're not taught how to deal with grief, how to, deal with something negative that comes in our life. So I think we should completely normalize grief, especially in mental health assessments as well in psychology. We should promote grief education in schools, workplaces. So we definitely need to bring that in. We should, in fact, support grief rituals and spaces where people can just pour themselves out, and even a spiritual dimension of grief itself altogether. And as you had asked before, how do we see it differently from other people? As a when when I see in allopathy, we wait for the symptoms to come in. We wait for the symptoms to trigger the person and the doctor as well. But as a naturopathy and a yoga doctor, I think we can sense the silence before the chaos comes in itself. So just in their breath work, when a person's breath is very shallow, very dull, or we have something called the laughing therapy. So the person who ends up laughing the most, who looks the happiest, who looks he is the most liveliest out of all, is actually the one who's going through something behind. Someone, while giving just a normal touch or a massage, or when we just palpate them for any sort of examination, the immediate tense muscles, the flinching, such small things are identifiers which we can immediately grab upon, and we should definitely work on that and help that person.
Wonderful. My goodness, you guys are just, I can't sit anymore. I'm just so excited. Who else wants to go next very quickly? You guys, I don't feel like stopping this. Okay, so
Anu, can I take
I
it up just last
yes,
one?
please
Because
go
I
ahead.
think while I was talking, my internet connection had
Yeah, I
got
know. That's why I
disconnected.
had to jump in. I hope you do.
So
Right.
what I do is like, see, the way I observe, see, I'm an educator, so my
Yes.
connection is with students, and the age where I deal in, either they are extremely silent or they are the biggest attention seekers in the class. Am I available? Am I audible, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So either two cases, like, and see, I think maybe experience slowly and gradually, like, I'm able to identify within a semester that there is an issue. So what I actually do in my classes every day, there is, with the topic I teach finance, with the topic with tax or accounting, whatever I teach, there is some gyan, life gyan I give. So that's the way I teach my subject. And I think I follow kindness. So what I do is I keep an open heart. I include them in my teaching and I hear them out. I listen to them. I nurture hope and I do very small things for them with love. So that's what I do for being kind, or teach them how to be kind. And I think, yeah, 21 years, it is just growing superb.
Wonderful. This is what I'm talking about. Each one of you are saying to me, a layperson, that you are, with every action, you're building trust and you're building confidence in that person. You see, you're building that. It's a building block, right? Each brick, that you're putting up there, just through your genuine, loving, respectful actions. Because if you are not any of those things, people sense it, you see. So you people are being that. You guys keep going. First of all, don't ever stop. Because just through your genuine, loving, respectful actions, the expert part comes. But unless you are genuinely imparting that, people sense it. And that's what you're doing. You're building trust, and brick by brick you're saving people, you're saving human beings from going up that steep end, right? And that is the most important um, thing that for me that anybody could be doing in their lives, right? You're not even allowing them to think that far. It says, come on, I've got so much to live for, right? It's so easy for anyone to say, I've got so much to live for, but to actually feel that and actually sense it and actually tell that to other people that they've got so much to live for. Those are the acts of kindness. I mean, when somebody hears kindness, they can look at it in a very superficial way. But what you guys did just now is delve so deep into it, saying that it is it's about life. It's about bringing moments of life together into a person and into ourselves. So thank you so much. This is incredible what we've delved into, right, Prachi? I mean, I am in Inith heaven right now, and each one of you have uh, I'm sure saved at least one person, if not more, who's listening at the other end, saying that there is so much more to live for, but more than that, there's so much more in them to give. And that's what you guys did. That's what you did. More than just being, you know, kindness may be the title, but that's what you did. That's what you are doing right now. So we have to wrap this up, unfortunately. And so let me do my job now. And thank you once again to each one of you. I'm an artist and designer, and I have a company. I have a company called 3 a.m. Inspirations, and those are the 3 a.m. My 3 a.m. inspirations helped me be where I am right now, and that's why I rebranded and changed the name of my company to this during COVID. And I can totally understand where all of you are coming from and where all of you are taking the world uh, because of my life that actually I even got almost got into depression because of the chronic pain that I suffered many years. So I know uh, I am very confident in saying that thanks to the woman, inspiring woman who brought me up here. I have a apparel brand. I call it Woman Inspired Art Apparel. That's my brand, which I relish and cherish every day because of the women and the men who helped me get here. So I completely get what what every one of you are saying, and this is a G100 Oneness and Wisdom event, and we do this every month. I am the country chair for India for this um, amazing wing that we are so proud to be part of. And we have country chairs and we have state and city and advisory councils and chairs. In here, we have Denim Club members in here, and our godmother, should I say, our god sister, should I say that, our divine sister who started all this 11 years ago, 12 years. I keep saying 11. I should say more. Many years ago was is Dr. Harbin Arora Rai. She started this amazing group, which she calls Women Economic Forum. And she says that there are 5 fingers to it. She's got so many sectors of it. One of us is G100, and one of those G100 sectors is us, which is oneness and wisdom. And our global chair is Julia Dudenko. And we have country, like I just mentioned, we have countries, we have more than 55 countries represented in our amazing G100 Oneness and Wisdom sector group community. And we have about 55 plus members in our India circle. Thanks to you, for full credit to all of you. So, yeah, and we make it a point to pick one woman's topic, one topic which is hurting or which is concerning women every month. So last month we did something about health. This month we are doing something about um, suicide prevention. And by the way, all of these topics are brought up by our own members. I don't do anything, I just enjoy the scene. Okay. And I want to just bring all of you back up. I want to show the world, I want to show you guys the world, show the world to you guys. So either way, whatever. So um, next month somebody will pick the topic and we go with it. This time it was Prachi's turn. It's not even a turn, right? It's a democracy. We just, anyone who wants to say I want to do this, all right, let's do it, right? So this is what we are all about. We just here to have fun, and we are here to delve deep into all of these matters that concern women and humankind, men and humankind. Even men are there. I promise.
Denim Club.
Yeah, Denim Club. See, yeah, yeah, and we've got some amazing, amazing people in our group. So thank you so much to everyone, and thank you to the our external guest also, whom our global chair and Dr. Harbin given a green light to bring in. So I'm, like I just said, I'm here to just enjoy the scene. So thank you so much, Prachi and Emmer and Pooja and Mahi and Suman, and there were others also, right?
Raika,
Preeti,
Yeah.
Raida, and Preeti, and there were
Anju.
others, but unfortunately they got sick, so they couldn't come. Anju, they couldn't come. But this program cannot end without me thanking Sudha Kumar, our technical person, without whom we could not have done this. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Bye.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Emma, before being there. Thank you so
Just
much.
just a second. Just a second. I need to stop.
Have a lovely rest of
Uh,
your weekend.
Our meeting is still recording, streaming on YouTube.
yeah. How do I? Right.